What's up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. Check it out. I wanted to put y'all up on something today. We still been doing the rap tips and all that, but this one is on some more. Just like the last time we did some studio tips, we're gonna give y'all some other studio tips. Somebody had hit me up. I guess it was an inbox on one of the last videos I did, and y'all were asking about punching in. And for those who may not be in the music business, who may not understand what that means, punching in, like punching in, it means it's like if you're doing vocals and you reach a certain point while laying your vocals and you may mess up or you may run out of breath, whatever the case may be, you may take a dip in your energy level and your intensity and how you delivering the vocals. You can actually stop from that point and the engineer can pick you up from a particular point and start recording you from that point, and you catch on where you left off and keep going. And that's what's called punching it in, because what the engineer does on his end is that he waits till you get to a certain part to build a momentum up, and then he punches you in, and then you start spitting. So I want to talk about the benefits of punching in and why some artists do it, why some artists feel like they don't want to do it, and whether or not I do it or not. Because a lot of people ask me, people will say, "Well, man, you got these songs where you spit 3 or 4 pages worth of lyrics with no hooks, no breaks in the action, and people make the mistake of thinking that I just spit that all the way through in the studio." And that's just simply not the case. So I absolutely punch in at times on certain songs, mainly the lyrical stuff, because once the song leaves the studio and gets to you guys, whether it be on CD or however you get your music, you want the delivery and the impact of the song to be as energetic and as consistent as it can be. So there are times where you'll punch it in just to keep that level up. And a lot of artists are opposed to punching in, and I used to be one of them when I was young, because as a rapper you got pride, like, man, I ain't got to punch in, I go in there and knock it out in one take. And then sometimes you do knock it out in one take, sometimes you do go in there and you get on your flow and you just knock it out. But certain songs, I don't care what rapper you listen to, what rapper you name, what rapper you love, they punch in. And it's very useful in terms of keeping the intensity levels of the song up. It's nothing that an artist should be ashamed of. It's nothing that an artist should feel as though they are cheating the game, or less of an artist if that's something you have to do, because the purpose of studio is to produce the best finished product that you can produce, and that's the objective of being in the lab, what we call the studio. In being in the lab, you want it to be as close to perfect as you can get it. Now, of course, in live performance, you can't punch in. So when you get on the stage, you have to make sure that you have it down pat, because people want to see you be able to deliver that live. And we'll do another video on that. That's another story and another topic for another time. But there are certain elements. I'm gonna give y'all some details to the punch in process, to where the artist and the engineer got to be on the same page. If the artist says, "Hey man, that last line, I'm gonna stop at that line and I'm gonna punch in from there," then the engineer and the artist typically, and I'm speaking for how I do it, the artist and the engineer typically agree on a catch point that they're gonna begin to punch at. So I may give my brother K Water the signal to say, "Hey man, my last line was camera in my hand, and he knows, okay, he's gonna check to see if there's a space right after I said camera in my hand that will allow him the time frame necessary he needs to punch me in. Now, if it's a run-on sentence, if I said something, 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 camera in my hand, and then I can't see, that was a pause right there that allows him the time to punch me in. But if I say something, 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 camera in my hand, but I kept it, I didn't give him enough space to do it. So we may find another spot. We may find a different spot to catch the punch. Once we agree on that, then there's a couple of ways that you can do it. You can either just start rapping at the point of the punch, or you can do what I prefer to do, which is, since we both know where I'm going to come in at, where the actual punch point is, I will start spitting the verse with myself, maybe a line or half a line prior to the actual point, to get my volume, intensity level right, locked in to where it was, and then he hits it, and you never know the difference that the flow um, was picked up from a certain point, because I'm still on the same level. And I think that's the best way to do it, because a lot of times when people punch in, if they just start right at the phrase that they're going to start at, you can tell they just jumped in, and you can hear it in the production. Um, we used to sit around a lot of times back in the days and listen to songs from, major artists, major rap artists, and we'd listen to say, okay, you can tell he punched in right there. And a lot of times that's because either myself as an artist or the engineer did not catch the punch point clean. So you can clearly catch it, like, okay, wait, it's obvious that this guy, because the flow switched up, or he jumped in too high, or he came in too low, and it wasn't on the same volume level with itself. And you could tell him. We used to catch rappers and stuff in punches all the time. I even got some obvious punches that I listened to on some of my old stuff that's like, it just make me laugh, because it's like anybody who knows will know that's an obvious punch, or they might think, okay, he did that on purpose. That was the effect that he was trying to get, which in some cases we do try to get the overlap effect. If a punch overlaps, but that wasn't the intention for it to overlap, if you didn't intend for it to overlap, then that wasn't a clean punch. But sometimes I like to lay my vocals where I overlap, because that's just the effect I'm reaching out for at the time. But I want to tell any rapper, um, don't take it as something to be ashamed of, or as a negative, if you got to punch in your vocals, because keep in mind, you in the studio. Keep in mind, you are recording um, a professional recording. So you want that to be as clean and pristine, and as close to perfect to the listener as you can get it. So if you got to punch, you got to punch, because sometimes you got rappers who are different styles of rappers, and some verses are way more complex and more difficult to deliver than others. So you have a verse that may got a lot of words in it, very limited space to breathe in it. It's humanly impossible for you to just spit like that unless you are super gifted. But you got guys who do a lot of twisting and tongue twisting and spitting fast, and multiples and flow patterns and things of that nature that require um, that you're gonna have to punch in. Now, when it comes down to the live show, you got to figure that out. If you're gonna spit that live, you got to work on that and practice that. But even the live show does not have to be 100% um, matched and flawless and accurate to how you did the punch. But when you get to that point where you can understand, hey man, all I'm trying to do is get a good sounding finished product, then you don't have no problem doing that. You just do what you do, and the result is in how the audience hear it and say, hey man, yeah, that was dope. That was dope. And if you got the right people working, the right engineer, and y'all on the same page and all that, then nobody will know the difference. So that's why I just wanted to give y'all a little game on that. I'm getting ready to put some work in right now, and I get at y'all. And if y'all got any suggestions or any more little studio tips y'all wanna throw at your big brother, feel free. Don't hesitate. Leave it in the comments. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure you have your hit that bell so you get the notification so you know when I drop something new. And we gonna get it. All right. Peace.